Live from the Washington, D.C. area, it's the Inside Scoop. All the news that our viewers want to know. Now, here's the host.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Alpha Woolen, and I'm your host this evening for the Inside Scoop. Tonight, we have with us a very special guest. We have with us Manassas Treasurer Patricia Richie-Folks. Thank you so much, Patricia, for being with us this evening.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
This is great to be on, and thank you so much for the opportunity.
Absolutely. So we know that you are running for re-election for the City of Manassas, so we're going to get into all of that. But I really want the audience to know more about you, your history, what makes you tick, the vision that you have for the City of Manassas.
Okay.
So let's get into it.
Okay.
So the first question I'm going to ask you is your background. What made you get into electoral politics?
Okay, so it started when I was 15 months old.
15 months old?
Well, okay, let me back up.
Okay, back up, okay.
So I got into politics first because of some things that was happening when I was an adult and I moved to Winter Haven, Florida.
Winter Haven, Florida?
Winter Haven,
okay.
Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandparents raised me there. And I went back there to live after living in D.C. for a while. But when I got there, I started working for PRIDE, was an organization that stands for Parental Resource Institution for Drug Education.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Mrs. Reagan's her thing that she did.
Sure.
You know, and the slogan was "Say No to Drugs."
Mm-hmm.
So with that, I started working there, and I got involved. I had just moved back from D.C., and I got involved, and I held the first symposium for the community because it's still kind of segregated and everything at that time.
This is in D.C.
And this was in Winter Haven.
Winter Haven, gotcha,
Florida.
okay.
And they started in 1990, because I moved there in '89, and in 1990 it was time for redistricting. And what upset me so much was the fact that they were going to be disenfranchising so many people within our community. And I'm like, no. So I really got involved with the political arena at that point. But what I was saying from 15 months old was my grandfather was an AME minister, presiding elder of the Orlando district, and my grandmother was First Lady of the church. So they raised me from the time I was 15 months old until I was 6, ready to go to school. And they taught me kindness and caring for people and how to treat people because we're all God's children. So that stayed with me throughout my adult life.
Wow.
So basically, yeah.
That's amazing. So how do you move from, okay, you saw there were some, you saw the impact of programs in helping your community.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. And you also got that sense of service from your grandparents that raised you. But to go into electoral politics, that takes some courage. That takes some gumption. So what inspired you with that?
So I just, I think it just was inside of me, and it brought it out. You know, it's not just caring for people, but caring about the community. Communities are important, and especially when I was growing up, it was important in our communities because back then, in Florida in the early 50s, 60s, everything was segregated. So community was different. Community was Miss Jones that lived here, that watched you, even though your parents worked, and made sure you didn't get in any trouble, and different things like that. So community was what I was all about, and helping people, but seeing the wrongs and disenfranchisement of people who needed certain things within the community that they weren't receiving. And it's like, we need representation, but now what you're doing is you're drawing these lines that's keeping this community out with someone who doesn't have their best interest at heart. So basically, I kind of got really mad, angry, and that really kind of motivated me as well. But I think also different things that I did as far as my profession was concerned got me involved with community. I was a coordinator for a drug abuse program where I had to go to different programs, and I was the continuous improvement coordinator. So always constantly looking for ways to improve it. And the fact of the matter that people were utilizing on drugs, and I became a drug abuse counselor, I really kind of got involved with things that it's a lot for a person to get on drugs, you know what I mean? So I think the empathy and all of that started also from there, that kind of molded me as well. But my grandparents molded me really from the time that I was a baby up to say, hey, everyone is important, and you really shouldn't just sit around and be silent. You need to speak up, you know. But that's kind of how it all started.
Sure. I think it's really important that you point out that during when you were in Florida, you saw segregation.
Oh yeah.
I think it's really important to point that out, because there are some narratives out there today that make it seem as if this was so long ago, and it really wasn't.
No, it
and
wasn't.
if we shut our eyes to the truth, if we don't shine a light to the past, we're just going to repeat it. So I think it's really important that you point out, like, no, these things happened,
Yes.
but it was because of the work of people seeing that disenfranchisement is not okay. Let's work against that. Let's make sure that everyone has an equal opportunity. Even in 2025, that's still
That's
an
true.
issue.
Yes, it is.
Wow.
Very much so.
So thank
Yes.
you for your work in that.
Thank you.
So in that vein, was there any experience that made you said that anything from your past that said, you know what, because of this particular experience, I think working with people, I'm assuming that working with people that are working to get off of addiction, I'm sure you have at least one or two memories that stuck with you that maybe would say, I'm meant to do this work.
Yes. It's hard, and you get burnt out real quickly because people repeat. It's a repeat. I mean, you know, so if you get help to get at least one or two people, that's a lot in the addiction world. But I left there and I started working more with a company called Sodexo, which used to be Marriott International, but Sodexo came in and they managed companies. So Sodexo managed laundries, and I fall into these jobs, okay? And I was working for Manpower, and all of a sudden, this position became open for a quality customer service manager. And in this laundry, so you have to realize the laundry is an industrial laundry doing healthcare laundry. So it's different than your little mom and pop laundry store. It's huge, and it's a huge operation. So I started as a customer service manager there, and ended up being promoted to a production manager and then to a general manager. So in Sodexo, they take the approach as 3M. So when you're general manager for your unit, it's like it's your business. So I learned a lot about a business. I learned a lot about managing people and things like that there. So I moved around a great deal because they would send me different places to troubleshoot. So in the private sector, if we had a hospital that decided that they were going to get rid of us, okay, they would send me in because it was 30 days before that contract would be ended. So they would send me in as a troubleshoot, and I'd get everything together, and the person would say, okay, we're going to keep you, and then I'd come back to my unit. But that's what I did. So I guess you would say I was more or less the problem solver, keeping things together. So, but I've had so many different professions and so many different things in my life. It was like I was talking to someone earlier today, and I was telling them that I used to be a disc jockey at one time.
Are you kidding?
I used to be a disc jockey.
Used to be a DJ.
A DJ.
Oh my gosh.
Baby, a DJ playing gospel music.
Okay.
But so I've had, I guess God had me have a roundabout, just so many different things to put together, and I realized He was molding me for where I am now. But I still always cared about people. And when my husband, who's from Virginia, we got married. We've been married for 19 years, coming up in October.
Okay.
My ride or die out there. The same situation happened in Virginia, and that was in 2010 with the census, and they wanted to do redistricting. And I read the article where they were going to start doing gerrymandering, which is what it's called, and they were going to do the same thing. And it just brought back memories of Florida and what happened there. And I was so angry, and I started talking to some people, and they said, well, why don't you get involved in politics? And I'm like, what? And they were like, yeah. And I met these two ladies that work for this organization, and they started talking to me, and they said, well, hey, there's a position for council. Why don't you run for it, you know? And boom, I jumped in as a Democrat in the city of Manassas that was completely red.
Oh, wow. So you were a trailblazer.
I was okay, yeah, I'll take trailblazer.
you were a trailblazer indeed. But I think it's just so interesting how most people who have this need or this calling when it comes to serving people, because that's a theme I'm hearing that's consistent with your past. You care about people and you care about process. But it's pretty consistent when I've spoken to a number of people, when someone first introduces the ideas to politics to them, they're just like, absolutely not. They turn their nose up at it. And the first thing people want to say is, I'm not a politician, or I don't like politics. What would you say, now that you're in it, what would you say has changed your perspective on politics as to why now you're passionate about serving in that space?
I would have to say a lot has to do with my upbringing, but the most important thing is the fact that you're helping people. Not only that, you're a public servant. So it's not for you, your glory, it's for your community, for the people. So that's what really attracted me to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Please make sure you don't go anywhere as we continue our conversation with Patricia Richie-Folks, who is the candidate, the incumbent for the treasurer for the City of Manassas. Stay right there.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right?
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
What's wrong with the world, mama? People living like they ain't got no mamas. I think the whole world's addicted to the drama, only attracted to things that'll bring the trauma. Yeah, madness is what you demonstrate, and that's exactly how anger works and operates. Man, you gotta have love just to set it straight. Take control of your mind and meditate. Let your soul gravitate to the love, y'all.
People killing, people dying, children hurt, and you hear them crying. When you practice what you preach, what you turn the other
Ma'am,
cheek.
you forgot your purse.
Oh, you don't know how worried I was. Thank you very much.
Honesty. Pass it on.
Nice move, kid. Donut?
A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
We're back to the Inside Scoop. Here again, your host.
Thank you so much for joining us back here on the Inside Scoop as we continue our conversation with Treasurer of Manassas City, Patricia Richie-Folks. So you were telling us about your journey, the paths that you took, or the experiences that you had that led you to where you are right now, and what kind of changed or influenced your perspective as it relates to politics. So you have been in this role since 2016.
Yes.
So, but what has been, I understand it wasn't, I think most people know that the path to success is not a straight one. It's not linear. It's up, it's down, it's backwards, it's in, it's out.
Exactly.
So share your experience of what it was like from the first time you ran for a seat.
Okay, so the first time I ran for city council, I wanted to be on council. I went to a couple of council meetings and I didn't see anybody that was indicative of Manassas, which is very diverse. And I was like, what? I mean, is this it? So I decided to run. So I had no idea that no Democrats had run. And so they talked to me and I jumped out there. And it would be so funny. I researched everything and I would start knocking doors. Nobody knew me. I mean, I was brand new out the box. I didn't come from Virginia. And I would knock on doors and people would go, "Are you a Democrat?" And I would
They would whisper, "Are you a Democrat?"
"Are you a Democrat?"
Wow.
And they would say, "Yes, come in, come in, come in." So anyway, knocking doors and all. So I ran in 2012 when the election was in May. Of course, nobody hardly votes in May.
Okay.
And a person that was a friend of mine, who became a friend of mine, was so upset because when I didn't win, but the winning vote was like 1,400 votes out of 22,000 registered voters in the city of Manassas. So he did to get the voting changed to November, he did a petition and he got it on the ballot. And they voted for it. And now our voting is in November.
Oh.
And so I didn't win in 12, but I ran again in 2014. I didn't win, but I was getting name recognition. And so in 2016, I was like, all right, I stayed out there. I stayed involved with the community. I was a member of the committee. I kept myself involved in front of people. And so in 16, I figured, okay, this is it. Me and Hillary. And and my boss, because I worked for Manassas Ballet as a production manager, my boss decided to change his party and run as a Democrat. So I couldn't run. I was so upset. And the treasurer for the city of Manassas, Robin Perkins, decided to retire a year before her term was up. So they said, "Patricia, run for treasurer." "No, I don't want to. No, I want to be on council." And they were like, "No, come on, run for treasurer." So I researched it and I went, okay, I do accounting. I had my own business. I did this. Okay. And I went and talked to my best friend at the time, E.J. Scott. I'm pretty sure you probably know her.
I am familiar with E.J. Scott. Shout out to E.J. Scott.
Shout out to E.J. Scott. and Pastor Keith Savage, First Baptist.
Yes.
We prayed over it, and I went and I talked to my husband, and I talked to my family, and they said yes. So I took that leap. I ran for treasurer in 16. It was a special election, and I had an opponent, of course, that was the person who the other side wanted to win very badly. And I won. I was shocked. And I won by 2.5 points, but by running in the special election, I had to run back to back. So I had to turn around and run for my 4-year term in 17. That was hard. It was very hard because there was a lot of dog whistling. It was not pretty. And one thing I can say about the citizens of Manassas, and that is they do not like ugly campaigns. And I won. And I won by 8.5 points that time.
Wow, amazing.
Yes. So, but once I got into the position, I loved it. it is rewarding to me, and I know people say, oh my God, they see me and they go, oh, I just got one of your dirty letters yesterday, which is the tax bills that I sent out.
Okay.
Oh, I just got that letter. But to see the city that is now thriving and to be able to make the changes that I've made within the office, it's been very, very rewarding to me that we've made, because it's not me, it's my staff. So.
Absolutely. So I'm hearing more themes. So it seems like the theme from the first segment was people and process. That has informed your experience. So now it seems like you ran the first time in 2012, tenacity.
Yes.
Can you talk about the importance of tenacity, how important that's been in your life experience?
So I think if you set out to do something, just because something falls through that first time, or just because you don't win that first time, if you really are sincere and this is something you really want to do, you have to keep at it. You can't just say, oh, well, that's not for me. No, it is, but you have hurdles and all that you have to go through. But you're learning as you're going through that. That's that tenacity. You're learning. It's something like a salesman. You get all these doors closed to you, and then all of a sudden it's a yes. It's the same thing, but the rewarding part is the end results. So even though I ran, and I know some people probably would say, oh my God, you ran a couple of times already, give it a rest.
Absolutely
but
not.
Absolutely not. I'm staying out here.
That's right.
So
that's right. So you said when you won, the first time you were shocked.
I was shocked.
Recall that experience. Like, what do you remember at that moment, how you felt, what you were thinking?
First of all, I was so surprised. I think I cried, I yelled, I screamed. I couldn't believe it, because I just knew the other guy probably was going to win. And it was just so rewarding. And I had to start work right away because it was a special election. So I had to start right away. And then once I got in, I saw that it was a lot. It's like, wow. This is a lot of responsibility, and it was like, I'll never forget the first year I won, I went to new candidates training. Oh. And one of the treasurers that was the president of the Treasurers Association of Virginia, Laura, said to us, yep, you won. Now you're gonna wake up at about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and you're gonna raise up and go, what did I do? But it's a lot, it's challenging, because a lot rides on your shoulder. I mean, if I don't collect the monies to meet the budget, then things can't get done, So I guess that's another part of the tenacity part. It's just you have to, and the process.
Sure.
And listening to your residents, listening to the taxpayers. What are they asking for? Put yourself in their shoes. That's the other thing.
And so going back into your history, you had some experiences professionally that prepared you for where you are right now. So let's talk about you being the owner of a construction company.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God. Yes.
Like, how did that start? What was that like?
It was on a whim, okay, and I decided to do it. But I was married to someone else at the time who was a construction worker who wanted to do this. And so we did it, and so I had to go out and get business. And the type of construction business that I had was steel framing, drywall, acoustical ceilings. So in other words, we come in, we do the framing, and then for drywall and acoustical ceiling, you're last. Okay. So plumbers have already come in, and this, that, and the other, and you're last. So by the time you get in there, you got to hurry up and get it done. Well, getting the business was a little hard, but I got in touch with some people. I couldn't get in, and that was during the time, and when we did it, it was during the time where, especially African American women, where women were supposed to be given these grants and all to start businesses. It was the SWAM and all of that. But it was difficult. the big guys got all the big contracts.
Sure.
So you had to wait on I had to wait on the little crumbs. But we did a great job, and I got quite a few jobs, funeral homes, and this, that, and that, and we just worked our way up and worked our way up. And surprisingly, we were doing very well. And then came the Olympics in Atlanta, because I was in Atlanta.
Okay.
I was in Georgia. And it just, the bigger companies just gobbled everything up and kind of went under.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you still had experiences
Yes.
as the owner of a construction company that contributed to your role today.
Yes.
People, processes, business, understanding the flow of different colors of money, et cetera.
Et cetera. And so when I got with Sodexo, it was the same thing. So when I got my own, I worked my way up to become, and it was a lot of processes and all the learning that, because production is a difficult thing. And you got to get all this linen to the hospital at a certain, it's a lot. But when I had my own unit, I had that experience, and that also helped me I had the experience from owning my own business to know, this is my business, so I got to run it like I ran my business, and I have to make sure that these accounts are getting paid and that they're being done on time, and that the customer complaints are being dealt with right away and things like that. And especially being in customer service, therefore, I was the one doing the customer service as well as general manager for my unit. So they sent me to St. Thomas when I was with in the Virgin Islands.
Okay.
The Ritz-Carlton, they got the contract, and I had to run that laundry. Oh my God, the hardest I have ever worked in my entire life.
Wow.
Yeah, it was hard.
On a Caribbean island, on a vacation getaway, you're working so hard.
Because you're in a hotel in the Ritz-Carlton, of course, top of the line, 5-star hotel. So you got this linen that is so thick, and I mean, it's just a process, but you've got linen and you got weddings, because I had the cleaners part of it and all of that. So yeah, it got me ready. Trust me.
I bet. So you were fully prepared. Little did you know that you were being prepared for public service.
Right.
Within that role.
No, I did not.
Gosh. Okay, so fast forward, it's 2016. You are, oh my goodness, we have to go into another break. But when we come back, I want to talk about, okay, it's 2016. You just started. What were some of the accomplishments that you wanted to achieve when you first came in?
Okay.
So please make sure you stay right there. We have a couple of PSAs for the next 2 minutes, and we'll see you back here on the Inside Scoop.
I can't believe we broke Old Man Hennessy's window.
Correction, dude. You broke. I just threw the ball.
This is really bad. What are we gonna do?
We? Go to the door, ask for the ball back.
Are you serious?
It's my ball, Myrtleback.
You're so dead. I'd run away.
Yeah, to Uruguay.
Kiss your life goodbye. Sorry.
Let's go. See you, dude. See ya. Remember me and your well.
Nice one. Some friends you are. Hi. Tell him it was an accident. And we can fix the window. Come on. I'll come with you.
Loyalty. Pass it on.
You go first.
A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
One day these rats were playing in the woods. Well, it's some matches and that's no good. Listen to smoke before you give it a try. Only you. Don't play with matches. Don't play with fire. Cause there's nothing very funny about $3,000. Nothing very nice on a homeless mind. So if a gorgeous force is what you desire, don't play with matches. Don't play with fire. Yeah.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Fire.
Awkward.
I'm the awkward silence.
You try to avoid me, then there I am again.
But an awkward silence can be a great thing. Like Kelly here is about to demonstrate.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
We're back to the Inside Scoop. Here again, your host.
Thank you so much for joining us back here on the Inside Scoop. Again, I'm your host, Alpha Woolen, and we are going to continue our conversation with Treasurer Patricia Richie-Folks of the City of Manassas, whose name will also appear on your ballot in November. But we're learning more about her. We've learned about her background, what led her to be such a great public servant. And so when we left off in the previous segment, we said that we were going to start off this segment talking about some of the things that you wanted to accomplish once you took office initially. Once you took office initially in 2016. So what are some of those accomplishments?
So what I heard from, knocking the doors and all was having more options to pay. So I thought about it, people are so busy, you take the kid to soccer practice, you got this going on, that going on. And when I got into the office, I realized that there was only 2 ways you could pay. You could pay, 4. So Visa, MasterCard, cash, money order, check, right? Mm-hmm. So, but who need to come into the office? I mean, we're in the 21st century.
Sure.
What's going on? So that was one of the things I said I was going to do when I ran. So that was one of the first things I started working on. And we have the Treasurers Association of Virginia, which I'm a member of, my office is. And so I started collaborating and talking with other treasurers. Falls Church is comparable to us a little bit. So I started talking with the treasurer there and found out what they use.
Sure.
Okay. So I found out they used this particular vendor and what it did. So I decided, okay, this is what we're going to do because this is what is important to people. And people will say to me, why can't I just pick up the telephone and call and pay it? Why can't I do this? Well, I started working on that. So now we have where the person does not have to come into the office. You have all these options that you can pay your taxes. And then I wanted to get it even more precise. So now we know how the mail is, not saying anything bad about the postal service.
Okay.
But one of the things that a taxpayer has to understand is that just because you don't get your bill, you're still responsible for those taxes. If you don't pay them on time, you get a penalty. Well, who wants to get a penalty, right? So I said, well, I want to have something to where it'll notify you. So that was what I worked on with the vendor after talking to a treasurer, and I got that accomplished. So a person would be able to sign up. They would be able to get a notice saying, hey, the bills are done. This is how much it is if you want to pay now. And then also they took other credit cards. So now we have Discovery. We have Visa, MasterCard, Pay by Phone, Google Pay. Well, that came later, but Google Pay. So all these different options for you to be able to pay as opposed to having to come into the office to pay or worrying about did you get your bill or something like that. So that was one of my accomplishments. The other, what we want to do in my office is to help people. First of all, nobody really wants to pay taxes. I'm sorry, Alpha. I know you don't have people beat down our door saying, oh, yeah, I got to pay my taxes. Where's my bill? Where's my bill? Please let me pay my taxes. No, we don't have that.
Okay.
And so, but we want great streets. We want great schools and all of that. So what we did at my next term, because I finished up the first term, got in for my second 4 years, is we start working with that. We start working to kind of make it even more user-friendly and all, and getting it out there. So the other thing that I accomplished was I had to get my Master's of Governmental Treasurer. You have to become certified. I did that in 4 years.
Fantastic.
And the other accomplishment is I am the only one that manages the investments for the city. So I was voted on, and I am now on the Board of Trustees for Virginia Investment Pool, so that we can really watch the money. I got to make sure that we're staying on top of everything.
That's right.
So these are some of the accomplishments that I did in the first 2 terms of my office.
That's amazing. One thing that I heard you mention was you said you were working with Falls Church.
Yes.
I think one thing that makes Northern Virginia very unique, I know that, you know, other people like in, you know, Northern Neck and things like that, they want to be, you know, they want to be like us in Northern Virginia. We're unique for a reason.
Yes, we are.
But when, I think it was Jeff McKay, I heard someone say that Northern Virginia drives 80% of the economic value for the entire state or something along those lines.
Yes, we do.
But in Northern Virginia, like you said, Falls Church, Fairfax County, Prince William County, the City of Manassas, because we are so closely knit and we have so much economic power here, it's really important that we work together and that we build coalitions. So can you speak to additional efforts or additional activities or things that you've done to build coalitions across Northern Virginia?
Yes. So, as I said, I'm a member of Treasurers Association of Virginia. And now, first one of the things they ask you to do is to volunteer for different committees. So you have your major committees and minor committees. So one of the major committees that the president placed me on was the Legislative Committee. And then I became the chair for the Audit Committee. And then I was asked by the treasurer, who is my mentor, Jody Acosta for Falls Church, when she became president of Treasurers Association of Virginia, to be on the board of directors.
Wow.
So I'm on the board of directors, and then our new president, Tanya Wilcox from Fauquier County, asked me to serve on her board. I also served on the Education Curriculum Committee. So these are the things that we work together with other treasurers in all parts of Virginia, because you have Southwest Virginia that is a lot different. Then you have the, what we call it, Portsmouth and all the Norfolk and down that way. Tidewater.
Yes.
Thank you.
Sure.
The Tidewater. So, and all our offices are different. We don't all operate the same way.
Right.
But we are, I would have to say, we're something to be reckoned with, the Treasurers Association of Virginia, and we look out for each other. So if one treasurer is having issues or something, because a lot of people don't want us in our positions and they want to take us out by the charter or what have you, we all get together and we really work on that. And then there are a lot of bills that are coming out that are not good for the taxpayer, are not good for our locality.
Wow.
So we work hard on getting with our legislators and coming up with bills that will not do, that will, during legislative day, we're lobbying to make sure that we're looking out for our localities as well as the taxpayer.
I think that is so, so important, Patricia, that people understand that we still have power when it comes to affecting our government, and what can I say? How can I say this? The area closest to us is local government, and so, like you said, when you hear about policies or legislation that's coming forward, the group that you work with to make sure people are informed, to make sure that folks are making educated decisions, to make sure that you can impact that. That is so important that people know that, yes, it's great to vote in your general election. Yes, it's super important to pay attention. Even your state governor, that race is important as well. But really pay attention to go all the way down the ballot and pay attention to those local elections.
Very important.
So speaking of which, can you talk about your priorities? What are some of your priorities specifically within your role as treasurer that you have?
So my priorities now is to, and I have a great staff. I have to keep saying that. I have a wonderful staff.
That's good.
And our top priority is assisting and helping our taxpayers get through a lot of the issues that they're dealing with. As you know, right now we're coming up on some issues that we're not really sure which way this pendulum is going to swing.
Sure.
But we do know that there are going to be some instances where the localities are going to have more responsibilities financially because of what would be happening within the state. So we're always looking at, and one of my top priorities right now is to make sure that I can give, you have to pay your taxes, but anything that I can do to make it easier for you, I'm gonna do that. Right now, what I've started after the pandemic was to say, okay, you can personal property taxes went out the roof. I mean, they were so high. So I said, okay, let's start where people can prepay starting in January, and by the time the bills come out in September, that's due in October, you've paid most of it. So little things like that. I can't change the fact that you got to pay your taxes.
Right.
But as easy as I can make it for you is one of my top priorities. Within my role and within what I can do is important to me. So we have a lot of authority, we have a lot of power in certain things, which we don't really want to use, but the more I can help our residents and our taxpayers is basically my main objective and my priority, and also my office is very diverse. So our city has a huge Latino population, and now they can come to our office, and I have people on my staff that they can communicate with. And a lot of times the people that come into the office are not even coming to pay taxes. They're actually coming to get information to where they can understand it. You know what I mean? So, and we're the first person that you see when you come into the city. So we want to make sure, I want to make sure that our office is open, that gives excellent customer service, and that assists in wherever we can, because that's the impression that that person is going to get of the city. They come to us first. Now, they may come in a little angry, but by the time they leave, they're smiling.
That's a good thing.
You have some people that come in all the time because they want to show pictures of their grandbabies and this sort of thing. I mean, it's just, they're going to come into that treasurer's office. Even though you make it easier for them to do certain things, they're going to come in. So we just try to make sure that we accommodate our customers on whatever spectrum, and I want to continue doing that. And my top priorities for the next 4 years, if I'm reelected, is to make it even more user-friendly, to be more attuned, because we don't know what's going to be coming down the pike. So
I think that's so important, to have elected officials that understand the importance of representation and accessibility.
Yes.
You said you want to make sure that no matter what language someone speaks, that they understand, that they're getting information. Especially for something as inclusive, mandatory or not, as your taxes. We all have to contribute, like you said, to our roads, to our schools, to our infrastructure.
Yes.
And so you want that space to be welcoming. So I commend you for making sure that, as the treasurer, you make sure that it's an inclusive space, even as uncomfortable as taxes can be.
Yes.
So please make sure you don't go anywhere as we continue and conclude our conversation with Patricia Richie-Folks, treasurer for the City of Manassas.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that! That's disgusting! Oh, poop already! You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
So how was work?
It was 1,300 hours. My math class from 302 was in the trenches. Davy Roth had it the worst. Fractions were coming at him left and right. He just didn't get the damn things. 2 days ago, I tried to teach him what 1/4 of 1/2 was using different sizes of blocks. Yesterday, I tried again by dividing up pizza. Both missions failed.
Oh, no.
But today, I was ready. I created a combat math game where the only way to beat the enemy is to out-fraction them. Davy conquered every last denominator. My game was so successful, the principal is deploying it to math squadrons all over the school.
Anywho, how was your day?
Oh, today my boss treated the office to salad wraps.
Salad wraps.
I know.
150 over 90.
180/111.
160/110. I had a stroke.
This is what high blood pressure looks like. You might not feel its symptoms, but the results from a stroke are far from invisible or silent. If you've come off your treatment plan, get back on it or talk with your doctor to create an exercise, diet, and medication plan that works for you. Go to loweryourhbp.org.
If I would have followed a treatment plan, I would not be in this situation.
We're back to the Inside Scoop. Here again, your host.
Thank you so much for joining us back here on the Inside Scoop as we conclude our conversation with Patricia Richie-Folks. She is currently the treasurer for the City of Manassas and running for re-election. That means she is the incumbent, and her name will appear on your ballot if you are a resident of the City of Manassas in November. So let's ask the difficult question. Okay. Patricia, how are you different from your opponent?
Well, one of the ways that I'm different from my opponent is I have the experience. This is my 9th year, my 3rd term that I'm running for. And one of the things I've noticed is of course I have my master's in governmental treasurer, and I just received my recertification this year. But most importantly, how I'm different from my opponent is I have done a lot within that office. I know the office. I'm experienced. And I said that already, but when I say experienced, we're coming up to where, as I talked about, the uncertainties that we may be coming up with. So do you want someone that's tried and true, that you know is doing a great job, that you know is going to be taking care of the city's coffers? Or do you want somebody new that's coming in that has to learn? That I don't really know my opponent. I only met him once. But one of the things is, once I met him, because I believe in introducing myself to you and finding out about you and you find out about me, is that you have to learn and you have to know what you're running for. That is very, very important. You can say, oh yeah, I'm going to run for this office, but do you know about the office? Do you know everything that office does? And what are you going to bring to the table? So that's how I feel that I am different from my opponent.
Experience matters.
Yes.
And as you mentioned before, you know the people know you. You've put processes in place. There's a certain culture that is in place, and you've put in work. You said this is your 9th year?
Yes.
So you've put those processes in place, and people have come to expect that. And as we were saying before the end of the last segment, we want the tax service. It can be it can be a not enjoyable experience when it comes to taxes for so many different reasons, but we all benefit from it.
Yes.
And I think the least that our local tax offices can do is just to make sure it's a welcoming, inclusive environment. So you're saying what makes you different from your opponent is that you have put these processes in place.
Yes.
You want to continue to cultivate a welcoming environment, and you know what you're doing because experience matters.
Yes, ma'am. Exactly. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Okay. So what do you think Manassas residents want from their office that they're not receiving just yet, that you have your finger on the pulse and you want to help fix that?
Of course, not having to pay taxes. No, but I think they pretty much know, and they've gotten used to the services and all that they receive. Now that I'm out talking, I'm always trying to find out what more can we do for you?
Oh, okay.
You know, and that's something I'm working on right now. What more can we do within what I can do? So right now my chief deputy and I are working on some things to make it even more easy for them to pay, as well as coming up with ways, because of we don't know what the financial situation is going to be within the next year or two, to come up with situations to where we can assist in some type of ways to where it makes it a little bit more easier for them to be able to pay.
Okay. And so you've mentioned that uncertainty a couple of times. That's coming out of federal policy.
Yes,
and
federal.
So they're federal
and state.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And so that kind of lends itself to the uncertainty that you're talking about.
Exactly.
Okay. So you're working in sounds like you're working within your processes. If we go this way, then we know we can do this. If we go that way, then we know we can do that.
Right.
Okay.
Also, I am, as treasurer, I am the investment manager.
Mm-hmm.
I manage all the investments for the city. I'm the only one that can do that, as well as the bank accounts. So I am now, as I mentioned before, on the board of trustees for Virginia Investment Pool, but I need to keep my fingers on the pulse of what's happening with the investments as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to be able to make sure that what we have and how we're investing is in our best interest. So, and I don't know if my opponent has that experience. So that's another reason why I feel that I should be reelected, because I know these. In other words, I'm familiar with it and I'm on the board. So, but with the uncertainty, we have a social services department.
Mm-hmm.
It takes care of food stamps and this sort of thing. How is it going to affect them, and what is it going to take from our budget? Because most of their monies come in from the federal government, okay? So what is Manassas going to have to, I mean, it's just, I love my city, and we have done so well with everything, and I want it to continue. But I also have to know and understand that there may be some hardship somewhere, and I've got to be able to have my, be able to not be reactive but proactive to what may happen.
That's right.
So that's one of my main concerns for my next term, if the people re-elect me.
They will. So for voters that don't know you, they may not be familiar with them. They may not be familiar with you. What would you like? What's one thing you would like voters to know about you that they might not know?
For those who don't know me, I'm just like you. I'm just like everybody else. I'm in the treasurer's role. So I'm real. I'm not going to pull any punches. I'm not going to do anything wrong. But I'm also going to always be thinking about them, because that's I'm sorry. It's just about me. I'm just very concerned about them, and myself too, because I have to pay taxes just like everybody else.
Sure.
My husband will tell you he has to pay taxes too. Mm-hmm. So we understand that, and I think I just want to be able to continue to have my pulse on the city, on our residents, to know just what they're feeling. They can call me and talk to me at any time. One of the things people they get really shocked and they go, "Oh, you're the treasurer? You're answering the phone?" Like, yeah,
yes,
it's my job.
Sure.
So that's basically
great.
Yeah, what I want to do.
So if folks want to learn more about your campaign, because again, your name is going to be on the ballot for re-election, they can go to pat4treasurer.com.
Also, I just would like to mention that early voting starts on September 19th.
Okay.
And the voting day is November 4th.
Okay.
But please, you want to know anything else about me, please go to my website, pat4treasurer.com. Real
That's
simple.
Pat, the number 4.
The number 4, treasurer.com.
Okay, and where can they find you on social media?
Pat for Treasurer.
Okay.
Again,
super simple.
Super simple.
Okay, sounds good. I think your IG is pat.for-treasurer or something like that.
Yes.
They can just type in your name, Pat for Treasurer.
And it'll come up.
Right, on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And anything they need to find out, they'll see it there.
They'll see it there.
Wonderful. Okay, so this is one of my favorite parts of the show, where the audience gets to learn a little bit about you. It's the fun part.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions.
Uh-oh.
And feel free to give a bit of an anecdote. But this is the fun part because we've been talking about pretty serious topics, which is important. We want people to vote for you. We want people to know more about you. We want people to be involved in the voting process and to know the importance of the role of the treasurer. But now let's find out about Pat, the fun side of Pat. So, first question: would you rather have the ability to see 10 minutes into the future, or 150 years into the future?
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
10 minutes. That's all I want to see. You know?
Not 150
Not
years.
150 years. No.
Like, I'm not going to be there anyway, so whatever.
Exactly.
Okay.
But yeah, that's good enough.
Okay. I think I'd be okay with knowing like what's going on 150 years. Like,
Well,
are
see,
we gonna, like, what language are we gonna speak? What are we gonna look like?
Yeah.
I think that'd be kind of cool.
I guess the excitement of waiting.
Right.
You know?
Okay.
Okay, so I saw this 10 minutes, so let's analyze, let's see, what could go wrong? Well,
Okay.
yeah.
Either or.
Either
okay.
or, yeah.
Remember those choose your own adventure books? I love
Yes.
those books. Yes. Okay, next question. Would you rather spend the day wearing wet socks or with a popcorn kernel in your teeth?
Ooh, neither. Oh wow, I would probably have to. Oh, the kernel in your teeth. Oh no, I would have to say wet socks.
Wet socks.
The kernel in my teeth.
It's something. It's just annoying. And
It's
I can
annoying.
say, since lunch, I can admit this to the audience that I have had a kernel in between my teeth all day long, and I've been trying to excavate it all day, and it's so annoying.
It's so annoying.
So but which one would I rather? Wet socks, or this popcorn kernel? I would probably deal with the popcorn kernel.
You would? Okay.
I would, because your feet, like the wetness gets in between your toes, and it's just so appropriate to be talking about on television right now.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So let's see. Would you rather have a Texas accent and live in New York, or would you rather have a New York accent and live in Texas?
I'd rather have a Texas accent and live in New York. Yeah.
Okay.
Because, I would.
Yeah. Okay. I think I would rather have any sort of accent and live in New York rather than Texas.
Rather than Texas,
now,
right?
Texas is an interesting place.
Yes, it is.
Okay, one more question. Would you rather create a new holiday or create a new language?
A new holiday.
A new holiday?
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to create a new language. I'm just that person.
Okay.
Okay. Pat, it's been wonderful having you here on the Inside Scoop. Again, if you'd like to know more about Pat, you can go to patfortreasurer.com. Also want to encourage you to visit Eventbrite, and as the Northern Virginia Democratic Black Caucus is going to have a forum on HR1 and its impact on Virginians. So patfortreasurer.com, and also go to Eventbrite to visit to learn more about this event coming up on Saturday. Thank you for watching Inside Scoop. We'll see you next time.